I'm your boy EC22, and this is the Fair Weather Fan Channel, man. Please like, subscribe, share, but most of all, leave comments so you can join this conversation. Listen, I know I normally come on Tuesdays, but today I had to get out here and talk to you guys about the WNBA and the up-and-coming draft, as well as the free agencies that's been having and been taking place, man. It's been a wild and exciting offseason for the WNBA, starting with the collective bargaining agreement. The women are making more money in this league now than they ever have before. And so that's a great move in the right direction for the WNBA. And so now, what it says, we're having trouble. Anyway, we're just going to keep moving on. Facebook and having some problems over there. I don't know, but this is YouTube, and we're going to stay right here and keep it locked in. But no, listen, we're going to break down all 15 teams and what they've done so far in the free agency. But tonight is the WNBA draft, and we're going to just jump in here right now, and then on tomorrow we'll do our recap of the WNBA draft and what it means to the 15 teams out there and what is going forward. But I kind of got them ranked 15 through 1. So so when you call out a name, 15 from the least to the number 1 spot, I think who've done a great job in this all season. And so let's go ahead and get started with the Portland Fire. Man, listen, the Portland Fire expansion team, obviously they kind of get an NR, a not applicable rate, NA, or not rated, as well as the Toronto Temple. But just looking at what the Portland Fire have been able to do, Bridget Carlton, they was able to stab her and squeeze her from the Minnesota Lynx. And so that was a good addition to that whole expansion team. Not necessarily a sexy deal, but they got Bridget, and that's pretty much all they got. But they got a lot to do. The Portland Fire got a lot to do. Their new coach, what's his name, Alex Samurai, got a lot to do. Samurai has a lot to do. So I'm just curious in what they're going to do for this. It's kind of like it's an expansion team at the end of the day. So hopefully it'll work, right? Moving on to the Toronto Tempo. Now, they came out with a different approach for the Toronto Tempo, man. They came out and hit the ground running, right? They signed they signed Julia Aleman. She's a Euro player. She's a star in the Euro League, won multiple championships in the Euro League. But they got her. She's 36 years old, so she's kind of old. But when they jumped up and they got Marina Mabry, and they turned around and got the Slim Reaper Brittany Sykes, that set the precedent for what the Toronto Tempo was going to do. They let everybody know, listen, this is not about a developmental team. This is not about, trying to see what we can do years down the line. The Toronto Temple hit the ground running with getting they was able to steal Naria Sablio as well from the New York Liberty, but getting Marina Mabry and getting Brittany Sykes. Now, I don't know if this is going to pan out to wins or losses, but what we do know between Marina Mabry and Brittany Sykes, they're fun to watch. So win or loss, they're going to be must-see TV, so they're going to bring a lot of attention up there in Canada. Moving on to the Seattle Storms. Now, this is where I slow down because I don't know what Seattle's doing. I really don't know what Seattle's doing. I mean, you lose Skylar, you lose NECA, and then you add Stephanie Dawson from the Aces, and then you add Natisha Heidemann, the other half of the Stud Buzz. I'm just going to say this right now. You end up getting Ezzy Magnabor as a max contract. They're forward. You still got Dominique Malunga. Maybe they're going to look for what they can get out of the draft. I don't know. But right now, Seattle is free-falling quick. The Seattle Storm is free-falling real quick. So hopefully they can fix it sooner rather than later. But moving on to the Golden State Valkyrie, the expansion team from last year. Listen, they didn't do much in the offseason, but they shocked us all last year. We didn't expect the Golden State Valkyrie to be that good of a team last year. But, man, you're talking about with Kayla Thornton coming out there and showing us, even though she got hurt towards the end of the season, but they showed us what that team can really, really be about. They didn't have much to do. They added Gabby Williams and Akia Stokes to that team, but they lose Monica Billings and Carla Letty. So, but getting Gabby Williams over there is going to be a great fit. Hopefully we can get Kayla Thornton back healthy, and then we're going to see what the Golden State Valkyrie can do. We know what their fan base is all about, Valhalla. We're going to see what they can do. The Connecticut Suns is another one that I slow down on because without having a long dialogue about the Connecticut Suns, they're getting ready for the transition to Houston. Because if you don't know, the Connecticut Suns has been bought by a marketing group, and they're bringing them down to H-Town. So H-Town is finally getting another WNBA team since the Houston Comets. So this is a great addition. They signed Brittany Griner, which is going to bring them some type of star power, some people who want to watch. Brittany Griner is old. We know it. But Brittany Griner is still unguardable. Let's make no mistake about it. I don't know how long she can last on the floor, how many minutes she can give up night by night, but bringing Brittany Griner over there and also bringing over Kennedy Burke, this is them bringing some type of leadership, because Anissa Morrow, Aaliyah Edwards, all going to need it, along with Diamond Miller. All of them going to need this new veteran leadership to stand here in Houston. I think it's a great fit for all those women. I think Houston is going to be a great place for them, the culture. So we're going to see how the Connecticut Sun, this is not about this year, this is about next year when they go to Houston. And hopefully BG, she only signed a 1-year contract. Hopefully she will be coming back next year to bring her back home to Texas. All right, moving on to the Phoenix Mercury. Now, yeah, they lost Satu Sabli. We all know that. She went on over to New York. But man, Kalia Copper, Alyssa Thomas AT's, I'm not going to do that. But DeWanna Bonner, all re-signed. They still got a lot more signings to do. They still got a roster to fill out. But AT, man, is a dog. She can play and guard all 5 positions, so that's that. And then we already know we'll get out of Kalia Copper, man. So, I mean, that is a great. They're in the middle of the pack for the free season. I mean, for the free agency to get those players back. But we're still left to see what they're going to add to this team. Moving on to Dallas Wings. Listen, I have been saying all along that we do not need to re-sign Arika Ogunbowale, because, yes, I'm here in the DFW Metroplex, and I have been saying it. I've been screaming from rooftops. Please, let's move on from Arika Ogunbowale. But much to my surprise, the Dallas Wings decided to sign Arika Ogunbowale to a multi-year deal, and that left me kind of quite just puzzled. Like, what are they doing? You already got Paige Beckers. Can they really, 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 really work together, right? I don't know. What they needed was somebody big. But then they shocked me. They went on over to Minnesota Lynx and stole some key players from the Minnesota Lynx. They got Jessica Shepard as well as getting Elena Smith. 2 6'4" forwards who can play the post and the center, well capable of cleaning up the inside for us. So that leads me to believe that with the number 1 overall pick, we already know what they're going to do with that pick. It's all left to be seen here in the next hour or so. But I'm not going to spoil it for you. You got to watch the draft, right? But they doing well. They doing well. Let's see, can we put all these pieces together, and can we have the chemistry on the floor that we so rightly deserve here in Dallas? Moving on to Los Angeles Sparks. This one is a sad story going back fast. You're talking about them signing Derek and Hamby to a max deal, them bringing on over the losing Rickea Jackson is puzzling for me. Ariel Atkins get traded for Rickea Jackson from the Chicago Sky, and she get a semi-max deal. We're talking about Ariel Atkins, right? It gets deep. It gets deep. And then you get Kelsey Plum for a 1-year deal, $1 short of $1 million, who completely deserves a supermax contract, in my opinion. I don't know if she's waiting for next year. I don't know if she don't necessarily like being in LA. We don't know. I don't know why she didn't fight for a multi-year deal. This has a lot to do with her agents and what the Los Angeles Sparks is offering her. But this is where we are right now with Kelsey Plum. But we're going to say I was going to run the gap. The only good thing that happened to the Los Angeles Sparks is them bringing Nneka Ogwumike back home. That's about the only thing that happened. And then you're talking about my girl, Ray Burrell, will miss out on a lot of money that she was so rightfully deserved. Because they went out and gave Derek the money, gave Erica the money and stuff like that. I mean, but Ariel the money. Now she's kind of sitting in, maybe getting the league minimum and maybe slightly over. And Ray Burrell deserves so much more. All this is what they're trying to do, in my opinion, with the Los Angeles Sparks, is they are sold out on having Cameron Brink become the next best Sparks superstar. She's good. She was out hurt last year. She showed us a little life and what she can do in the unrivaled league. So, the left is rest to be seen, right? So maybe next year they'll do some willing and dealing, but Ray Burrell is still yet to sign. They extended her timeline to sign. So That's a just sad story. Ray Burrell deserved to get at least a max contract somewhere, but the only team that can sign her is the Los Angeles Sparks. So there you have it. The Indiana Fever. Wow, listen, ain't much to say about the Indiana Fever because you still got Caitlin Clark, who's coming back healthy. You still got Aaliyah Boston, who's doing her thing. They're the best front court, back court duo in the whole league, at least top three. You know, when you start looking at Chelsea Gray and Angel Wilson is number one, I give Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark number two. And then you still got, whenever she get healthy, Phoenician Collier and our girl Kayla McBride is number three. The top three front court and back court duo. And then you turn around and give our girl Kelsey Mitchell a max contract, a super max contract for 1 year. But to get a super max contract, they are talking about bringing it all back together. The one thing I love about Caitlin Clark is that I think she found a way to calm down in the USA games when she played over this spring. Because that's what she needed. She don't have to always be the top scorer on the squad. I think she got to let the game come to her. You already got some superstars on your squad. Let's see what they can do with running gambit. And they also added some key players with Monica Billings. They got her, and then they also got Tanasha Harris. So let's going to see how the Indiana Fever. They look. Indiana Fever is a contender. Say that. All right then. The Washington Mystics. This is going to be probably one of the best young teams the league has ever seen when it all get done. There's not a whole lot to say about the Washington Mystics right now because you still got Songa Citrum and Kiki Yerafin, and then they got 3 first-round draft picks here in the next couple of minutes. 3 first-round draft picks. This is a young superstar team that's waiting to be built. I cannot wait to see what the Washington Mystics and who they get with those 3 first-round draft picks, along with Songa Citrum and Kiki Yerafin. Y'all, is so unfair with what the Washington Mystics is about to do with the team. The Minnesota Lynx. Now, in all honesty and transparency, the Minnesota Lynx should have been ranked lower, or it should have been high on the list. Right now, they're coming at number 11. They could have easily been in number 13, you know what I'm saying, because they didn't really do too much. I mean, like I say, they lost Bridget Carlton to the Portland Fire. They lost 2 of their bigs to the Dallas Wings. We still don't know the injury status of Nafisa Collier. They stud Courtney Williams. They broke up the stud buzz. Natisha Heidemann is going to Seattle. You know, you got Courtney Williams to almost a max contract, and then they sign Kayla McBride to a max contract. So at least they got those 2. However, I'm still a fan. I'm still a believer of the Minnesota Lynx. So number 1, because they got the number 2 pick. And let me tell you, without being a little bit of spoiling the beans here, we already know what Dallas Wings going to do. They ain't drafting the big. And you got 2 bigs that's coming out. Iowa Fan and Lauren Betts. So although the Minnesota Lynx unloaded a couple of their bigs, they still got Lauren Betts and Iowa Fan. These 2 women have the making to be some of the WNBA's best bigs the league has ever seen. They're up there with, you know what I'm saying, with the Brittany Grinders, you know what I'm saying, and the Tina Charles of the world, you know what I'm saying. So let's go on. I can't wait. And then when you get Nafisa Collier back, and they still got some room to draft or do some free agency, so they still is wide open for the Minnesota Lynx. They're a contender. They'll be right back into it. New York Liberty. Now listen, if running back had a face, it would be the New York Liberty. After winning it all in 2024, losing first round last year to the Phoenix Mercury, they are desperate to let the world know we are better than what we displayed last year. So they're bringing Sabrina back. They're bringing Breanna Stewart back. Jacquel Jones. You talking about? Let's talk about Breanna Stewart. What that 2-time MVP, 3-time champion, 2 times Finals MVP. You talking about Sabrina Ionescu, 2-time 3-point shootout champion. You talking about Jacquel Jones, a Finals MVP and a league MVP. I mean, come on now, man. That team is already stacked. And then they get the better of the Sabali sisters. Satu Sabali leaves Phoenix to come over to New York, sending Naria on over to an expansion team. Listen, this team is ready to run it back, and they will go further than they did last year. Mark my word. Now we're coming down to the end. The best team that make these offseason was the Atlanta Dream. Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, Jordan Canada, Brianna Jones, just to name a few that's all coming back. They're all starting 5 and Nas Hillman. The whole starting five is coming back. And then you turn around, and for the culture of ATL, you bring in Angel Reese. Somebody's leaving a comment. What up, brother Lewis? What's going on, man? You're bringing Angel Reese. Listen, when the whole free agency started, this is what kicked off all the energy. A big surprise of all, the Angel Reese is leaving Chicago Sky and going over to ATL. This is how you kicked it off in free agency. And they gave away 2 first-round draft picks. And the question is Angel Reese worth 2 draft picks? First-round draft picks, 2027, 2028. Obviously, the Atlanta Dreams think so. And I more than agree with them, because what you can't buy is chemistry. We already know the relationship between Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard. And then you add in the third BFF, Angel Reese, says it all. And then, like I said, they're bringing back their whole starting five. And then you got a young guard sitting on the bench, Tahina Powell from South Carolina, who's going to be in the second year, who have superstar point guard in the making. Atlanta Dream going to be all right. The one thing I can say about Angel Reese, she needed ATL and ATL needed her. Let's moving on to the Chicago Sky. Now, listen, when the Chicago Sky traded Angel Reese, although they got 2 first-round draft picks, future first-round draft picks, everything went dark. And I'm sitting back like, I don't think Chicago Sky has a clue on what they're doing. I was very judgmental, even though I liked the trade. I think I always said that Angel Reese can't be the best player on the squad, so they're moving on from it was just what was needed. But then all of a sudden, we hear this rumor that Skylar Diggins-Smith is coming back. Courtney Vandersloot is back healthy. She's coming back. Well, Skylar Diggins-Smith has been leaving Seattle, coming to Chicago. Courtney Vandersloot is being healthy, re-signing with the Chicago Sky. And I'm like, oh, snap. They really got something going on. And then just to add insult to injury, to show all that they're doing something, they bring in Dejanay Carrington. Now, Dejanay Carrington is kind of like an Angel Reese type player, but without the drama, right? Same type of player, very scrappy. Obviously, she's not the defender that Angel Reese is, but she's up there, right? But she come drama-free. And that's what they need in Chicago. They don't want to have to deal with this whole back and forth with Angel Reese stuff. They free themselves from that. But then you turn around and then you trade Aria Atkins for Rickea Jackson. Now, I don't know what LA was thinking, but that was definitely in favor of Chicago Sky. Rickea Jackson, one of the young superstars of the WNBA. Listen. All I can say is Mama Skylar Diggins-Smith is home. All that stuff that Angel Reese talked about last year, that players not wanting to play, that ain't gonna happen under Skylar Diggins-Smith. She gonna let you know. That team has really changed the game. They're like number 2, in my opinion, of having the best offseason this whole WNBA season. All right. Now, with that being said, the number 1 still got to go to Las Vegas Aces. They didn't really do too much, but they're gonna sign A'ja Wilson to a supermax contract. We know that. Chelsea Gray has already signed a max deal. What's my girl? Jackie Young has already signed a deal, a 1-year deal. Jewel Lord says she ain't going nowhere. Although they lost Stephanie, but that don't mean anything. This is still the reigning champion. They're the team to beat. A'ja Wilson is the GOAT, hands down. So with all the free agency moves that people did some willing and dealing, man, listen, you still got to beat and knock off the champions, Las Vegas Aces. Lewis Mercer said Dallas Wings just got, so the draft has already started. I'm getting off the phone, getting off this thing, hitting you live. Those you guys go ahead and finish watching the rest of the draft. Like I said, that was a secret. We knew that Dallas Wings going to pick Azzy Fudd because they went and got those forwards between Jessica Shepard as well as Alana Smith. And now you have a complete team. A complete team. Let's see what the Dallas Wings going to do. Dallas Wings going to do. Go Wings. That's my time for today, man. Join us on Tuesday as we react again to the WNBA draft. There we go. I'm your boy EC22. Join us Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, as well as TikTok. And for now, I am out.